Hello, American Patriots. Douglas Ducote here, the founder and CEO of Veterans United for Justice, a veteran law enforcement officer, retired U.S. Army, and the co-host of Real World Witness radio show. I'm fixing to tell you something that chances are you have heard absolutely zero about. Hasn't been on any of the major news networks. In fact, probably the only way you've heard any of this is if you happen to live in South Louisiana, where this action took place this past Friday. It was as big at the time as what's happening out in Florida with the man that was arrested for sending the suspicious packages to members of Congress. The Domestic Terrorist Act is what I'd like to say, because that's exactly what he is. He is a domestic terrorist. Anyhow, this was a FBI investigation that came down from a federal warrant. And first, let me say that it pains me to call out anyone in law enforcement, as a veteran law enforcement officer myself. But when things that are done are very stupid and people are unwilling to think outside of the box, then I don't have a problem calling it out. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about the men and women that are out on the street that are keeping us safe. I'm talking about those in leadership positions, some that are about as incompetent as a soap dish. For those of you that follow me, you know that I have in the past been very critical of the leadership at the Department of Justice as well as the FBI. There have been several members of both organizations that have been terminated because of their illegal activity against our president. Some that are still there that should be terminated and probably will be very soon. And hopefully indictments and criminal investigations into their activities. Anyhow, let me focus on this news that I have to share with you that you're only going to get right here. This past Friday, the FBI, along with the Louisiana State Police, the ATF, and the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office conducted a raid on a business in Denham Springs, Louisiana. The business was called American Coach Works. The raid, from the limited information that they gave to the news media, was looking for explosive devices and or bombs. They spent the entire day Friday going through American Coach Works. They shut down the area all around it. They cordoned off the area. And the rumor mill went 110% forward. Everything from it was a direct connection to the domestic terrorist over in Florida that was sending the pipe bombs and the white powder, to it was a bunch of people in the local area that were terrorists. It was really, really crazy in and around Denham Springs, Louisiana, and South Louisiana. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now here we are Monday, and there's been no arrest. There's been no further statement. We do know that they went into this business and they took out numerous things. They also went to the owner's home and went through there with a warrant as well, looking for explosive devices and bombs. Now, let's back up for a moment. I, like many veterans in the state of Louisiana, know personally the owner of this business, American Coach Works. His name is John Spinks. John is a retired fire chief captain and is a World War II Vietnam era military collector of memorabilia. He has military jeeps and trucks and lots of bombs. Bombs that are fake, bombs that are training devices, and even some real bombs that were demilled by the military before sold to Army surplus stores where he then purchased them. Every veteran here in South Louisiana is aware of John Spinks because he comes to all of our events. Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Veterans Parades, and he brings his Jeeps and his trucks and all of his bombs, demilled machine guns to put on display and educate our youth. He's basically like I guess you would say a rolling museum, military museum that he brings to these events. And this has been going on for years, all right? I've known John for about 20 years now. Not only do I know him personally and have been in his shop, American Coach Works, many, many times, but so have many members of the Louisiana State Police and the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office. Why? Because they use American Coach Works on a regular basis. American Coach Works is a towing service, wrecker service. And when there are crashes in the Livingston Parish area, American Coach Works gets a lot of that business. So a good percentage of Louisiana State Police troopers in this area, as well as members of the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office, have been in American Coach Works many times. They're all friends with the owner, and they're all aware of what he does for veterans events. So here's my question. Here we are a few days later, and the local news media, WAFB and WBRZ and the Baton Rouge Advocate, have reached out to the FBI and the Louisiana State Police and the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office, as have I, trying to get updated information. And they've released nothing. They've said absolutely zero. Louisiana State Police and Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office will refer you to the FBI because it is their investigation. And that's understandable. The FBI will not give out any information. I personally believe it's because they have egg on their face right now. Because they went in on a tip, and I understand that, look, if somebody gives you a tip that there's bombs and explosive devices in a building somewhere, what do you expect them to do? All right? And then a judge issues a warrant for that. Well, what I expect them to do is I expect them to take the step of talking to the local law enforcement in the local community, maybe the mayor of the area, people like that, and just ask basic questions. And maybe Google his name and see the pictures all online of him and his bombs on display at veterans events. I expect them to reach out and do any extra homework prior to going in and trying to destroy a man and his family and his business. It's called thinking outside the box, which, sadly, some in the leadership of the FBI are unable to do. Now, my big question is, did they reach out to the local law enforcement? Did they talk to the sheriff of Livingston Parish? I know him personally, Jason Ard. His son and my daughter have graduated from high school together. They met each other when they were in elementary school, and I've known Jason Ard since then. Did they reach out to Jason and Jason talk to his deputies or give any information to the FBI that, yeah, there's bombs in there, they're all fake. They're not explosive devices. It's all training aids or demilled bombs, or, hey, look, it appears somebody has an axe to grind with John Spinks and made this shit up to get y'all to go in there and raid it. Did they reach out to the Louisiana State Police and ask them the same question? These are two law enforcement agencies that utilize American Coachworks every single week. Two agencies that have many members that have been in American Coachworks and know exactly what's in that building. And if they did, and the FBI was told by members of the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office and the Louisiana State Police that they're fake and that, hey, this guy brings all this stuff out for veterans events and we all know who he is and you don't need to go in there on like a combat rated mission in Fallujah. Did the FBI say, we don't care, we're doing it anyhow? Maybe it's training for our people in the field. So I'm not blaming the FBI agents that conducted their mission. But by now, a statement should have been released by the FBI. If for nothing else, to put the people of Denham Springs, Louisiana, that live in the neighborhoods that literally butt up against American Coachworks at ease if there were or were not live ordnance inside this building, if they were or were not in danger. But 3 days later, and no comment is not acceptable. There's been no arrest. John Spinks is still walking the street today, and the FBI refuses to comment on this investigation. So, I would like the FBI to at least put the people of Denham Springs at ease. And I've heard from many of them, because many of them know me and know that I know John Spinks, as well as most veterans in South Louisiana. Let the people know what you found or didn't find. And if during your raid all you found was what I just mentioned in this video, fake dummy rounds and demilled stuff, then just go ahead and admit it. You made a mistake based off of some false information. And then do a little digging into the person that gave you that information. Maybe they need to be looked into. I have the utmost respect for everyone at the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office, the Louisiana State Police, and the FBI. But leadership needs to think outside the box. And that goes all the way up to the Department of Justice and the FBI headquarters. As of right now, you have people in Denham Springs, Louisiana that believe their neighbor, John Spinks, an American Coachworks, is possibly a terrorist. Now, if you did find explosive devices and you did find real bombs, let us know that. But I don't think you did. Because had you, the man would have been arrested by now. There's no doubt about that. So let's come clean. And let's get this behind us. You owe it to the people of Denham Springs, Louisiana, that are very shaken up right now over this raid that took place this past Friday. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, our country, our president. For now, I'm Douglas Ducote, and I'm out.